Alright guys, let's see. Is anybody there? Hey, 3 people viewing already. Guys, it's showtime. Who's there and can you hear me? First important question of the day. Because it's still a very early technology, isn't it? For me at least. So, can you hear me? Hopefully with a nice background music. Hit the keys, guys. The chat is on. Does the chat work? Let's type something else. Awesome. Lil how do I spell this nickname? Malocchio. Great you tuning in. The first sign of life out there in the worldwide West. Where are you from and how old are you? And do you have a deck of cards open and ready to go for a live practice session? Nice. So I guess we have to give it a little time for a little more people to tuning in. But we're getting there. So I got this different camera angles here for the practice session. I've been practicing today already about 4 hours, I guess, altogether. It has been a beautiful day in Berlin. Extremely awesome summer weather. And I was outdoors. I'm in Berlin. I'm ready. Was practicing the earthness change earlier. Nice. Welcome, Schlin. Welcome, guys. Beautiful day in Berlin, and I was at a market fair where I am selling with my girlfriend artworks of her. So we have a little stand there, and I'm sitting there and just watching people, passing by. And of course, I'm having a deck of cards and I'm practicing while sitting there, waiting for some folks to buy some art. About 4 hours of practice was very nice. What I love about cards is that you basically can practice all the time because it doesn't make any disturbing sounds for the folks around you. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, yeah? What are you practicing right now, guys? Earthness change is it's a very important thing. I believe it's one of the coolest color changes you can learn and you should master, because you can do so many things with it. It's really beautiful. It's a beautiful move, and even though I wouldn't consider it a magician's fooler, but layman who usually don't know much about card magic or sleight of hand, push through shuffle, nice too. They really go nuts on this move. It's very nice. Very nice. As you can see, I usually when I start practicing, I aim for some shuffles, because shuffling in card magic is so super important. So I'm doing this just a few cuts, maybe also. Today we are going to cover the basics of card magic. At least that's the plan. But before we get started, I want to share some ideas about my channel and what this format is supposed to be, what I want to do with it and why I'm doing it. Because actually, this live practice sessions, for me, they are the next logical step for what I'm doing on YouTube. To do that, since the technology is available. And what I want to do is that I want to walk through the tutorial series that are up and running on my channel. to practice with you guys together, but to give some more thoughts on the stuff, on the tutorials and the things I put out there already, you know, to just, you know, widen the perspective a little bit maybe, or just to go a little bit deeper into some things, you know. How much time do you guys spend practicing? And do you have some kind of times where you practice? Do you practice just by chance when it feels right? Or do you get up in the morning and start practicing? Or do you have some you know, practice sets before going to bed or something? I'm curious to know how you guys do this, because as we all know, something like card magic comes with quite a lot of practice. Am I right? Yeah, about an hour. That's fair enough. That's not enough, man. I mean, there are some faster learners and slower learners, of course, but the thing about it is that at the end of the day, whatever you practice, whatever you try to achieve, you need to really get it down, right? To really get the shuffling techniques or the slides or the card control techniques. You really get them so perfect, and you really have to always get a super light and easy handling. And this is what takes so much time, I believe, you know. For me, sometimes it's when I there is this moment when you learn a new move or a new slide, and then you practice, and after quite a while of practice, there comes this moment when you kind of, you know, get behind the secret, those little things sometimes, and then you actually know what you're doing. You learned what you're doing, but then the practice actually starts, the real practice, you know, to really get this thing, you know, into a, I don't know, I call it a subconscious state, you know, where you do not have to spend one single thought on pulling off the move or doing it, you know, because of course you want to shift all your attention to your audience, if you're performing for an audience, that is. What would you recommend? Yeah, we're going to talk about this later here in detail a little bit, you know. I will tell you what I recommend. For now, don't do too much at the same time, and be realistic about your skill level and what you actually should learn and what comes later. You know, there are a lot of people in card magic or in magic are really confused about it. So they're practicing really difficult things, although they shouldn't yet, actually, I would say, because there are more important, more basic things that come beforehand and need to be mastered before you go for the crazy stuff, you know. Yeah, muscle memory, of course. Yeah, muscle memory. That's it. I mean, it's like riding a bicycle or walking, you know, or talking bullshit. Stuff that you do without thinking about it, you know. That becomes, I don't know, your second nature. And then when you shuffle cards or when you handle cards, it should look like that, you know. It should not be in any way, you know, troubled or tensed or something. Because if you give a deck of cards to a layman, to just some guy, and you say shuffle the cards and have them, you know, mix them up and stuff, and then take a look how the people handle the cards. They are very sloppy with the cards, and they're very, you know, loose with the cards and stuff, because they don't have that training. But that's how people are actually, you know, expecting somebody to handle cards. So if you're handling cards really tensed, it doesn't feel right for the people. And if you handle cards too well, that's also not so productive for magic, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I wouldn't say that I mean, it's the first time you might have seen somebody doing this, but I believe there has been some YouTubers or some magicians doing live sessions in this format. Absolutely, I think so. However, I try, of course, to give this my own touch, you know, to do it the way I think it's right. And we are in now for about 12 minutes, so I would say I give you a little introduction now, and then we're getting started. So here's the deal. I've been uploading magic videos on YouTube for quite a while now. Mainly tutorials on basic stuff, on classic techniques, and also I have quite some performances out on YouTube, and I'm completely invested into mastering the art of card magic, which is staging tricks and illusions with a deck of cards. I studied the art form about 10 years now, I would say. And in the last 10 years, I made quite a development. However, right now it just feels like I'm getting started. I'm just getting started, you know. And what I did on YouTube was to kind of document my learning process. So right about the time when I get a move down or a technique, I shoot a tutorial. Because I want to keep the memory of what are the important, you know, elements, these little details that made the difference for me. I just want to don't want to forget that. I just want to document that, because when you proceed with the technique, as it becomes, I don't know, your second nature. And it becomes totally automized and subconscious. You kind of forget what was the difficulty, you know. I think this is not only happening in card magic. Every artistic thing you can do out there has this learning curve, you know, and I think this is one of the reasons why a great artist in a particular art does not need necessarily be a good teacher, you know, because there are extremely awesome people doing incredible things on a crazy skill level, but if you ask them how they do it, they kind of I just do it, you know. So for me, it was important. At the point, or since I decided to really focus on card magic in my life, to document this, and I found YouTube being the perfect format for that. Besides of the fact that shooting these videos and trying to, I don't know, explain something, this is again a process where you recap all the things you've learned so far. So I've got a lot of stuff out there now today, and at that point I thought maybe it's a real cool idea to go over the whole things once again. Now today, looking from a certain distance at the stuff, you know, because some tutorial series I put out there are 2 or 3 years old today. So that was the idea, and also, of course, it's pretty cool to connect with you guys in this way. I mean, this is a crazy technology that we just you can hang out together and practice and learn together across, you know, the borders of nations. And it, like, I don't know where you guys are viewing from right now. I would really know. So, our boy is just starting. He said, with the Royal Road to Card Magic. I got the Royal Road to Card Magic here, and yes, it is a fantastic book, absolutely. The way it's built up, the way it's designed, you know, it's really organized. It always, you know, it goes through. It starts, for example, here with the overhand shuffle, and it goes through technique. One technique or one slide after another, and then it shows you variations, and then it presents tricks in the same chapter, making use of that specific technique, which I think is a fantastic way of teaching magic. It's a classic. USA, very nice. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Awesome. I'm sending my message out to the world from Berlin. It's a beautiful city in Germany, the capital of Germany nowadays. So guys, what do you say? We roll the intro and then We're getting started. By the way, I've planned to do this about, I don't know, 45 minutes up to 1 hour. Let's see how we're getting through and what's happening between you and me. I gotta say here, you and me. Feel free anytime to ask questions. You know, we are totally free here to do what we want to do, right? This is us together now in it. Let's roll the trailer.
OTHMARIUS MAGIC. Like and subscribe.
All right, guys. So, today I want to talk with you about a little practice routine, which I believe is the most fundamental practice routine out there in card magic. I got to turn the background music a little down. This is it's not so cool right now in my ears. Some soft chill music here. Okay. And it's very, very basic. It's so basic that some folks don't even consider bothering with it at all, and I believe that's a mistake. Now, this is going to be gold for all you bloody beginners watching. If you are already advanced, this might appear maybe a little too easy or something, but I'm trying to make this interesting and as informative for all skill levels. I believe that it's very important to go back in between your learning process and to get an overview what you did so far. And I believe it happens naturally that if you are really practicing consciously, if you're really looking at what you're doing, it's always a one step ahead, 2 steps back, or something like that. So you're always getting back, you're always adjusting, and also the things, the techniques, the sleights, they change in your hands over the years if you stick with it. And this is something important to have an eye on, I believe. If you are consciousness about your learning process, you will learn more successfully and achieve your goals more successfully, I believe. Before I get really started, I want to share one more thing. Of course, all I say is highly subjective, okay? This is stuff that reflects on my learning process. I promise you guys to be honest with you. I'm not telling you any bullshit. I really only say things I believe that are true at the time I'm saying them. Concerning the art form doesn't mean that they are right, or that there are not better ways approaching things. So I'm just want you to be also there. To just take the stuff I say as an input, as an inspiration, as an input for your own thought process, okay? Always be critical, and if you have to add something, or if you think something I say is not quite right, absolutely feel free to comment on that, because I think it's just how it works, I don't believe in authority that cannot be doubted, I don't believe in that. I believe that that the people who actually know stuff are the people that should be most open for new for changes, in the art, in the stuff. Because when you learn something, when you're really excited about learning something, you can't get enough, and you're never sure. And the more you learn, actually, the less it kind of feels like, As I said before, I'm 10 years in this, and today I feel like, just getting started. There's so much stuff. All right, so the basic practice routine, and by the way, I got in the info cards as well in this description box, I got the link for this tutorial series, because I'm not going into detail in the slides or in the techniques here, in the handling. Just want to give you a general overview. So if you want to go deeper into it, the vids, the tutorials are available, and you can catch up later then. So the basic routine, I call it the pick a card routine. It's a 3 pattern card routine. It basically is showing the cards with a classic in-hand spread, closing the spread, and squaring up the cards. Now, calling this a routine, some people might call me crazy, but listen up. This represents a three-step pattern. We're getting started with a basic grip, then we pull off a move, a slide, or a technique, then we clean it up, we come back by squaring up the cards, and we go back into a basic grip. And if you think about it, this is what you do all the freaking time in card magic. You know, whatever you do, you always start from a basic grip or a specific grip. Sometimes you need to get into a specific grip at first to pull off the move. And it doesn't matter what it is, even shuffling the cards, you know, a simple overhand shuffle. And then you square up the cards to get back into your basic grip. You do it all the time. So this simple form here represents something you are working with all the time. I believe 3 is the magic number in magic, and I believe we all should get used to working with this 3-step pattern. It's also an important number for the simple narrative and plot storytelling, you know, beginning, middle part, end. And it's also a pattern where you build up routines with, you know, 3 tricks, you got a nice routine, you know. So, and also this little practice routine I call pick a card routine is so important because this also represents one of the most important aspects of card magic, and that is the interaction with your audience, right? Because you're performing card magic for people with an interaction with people, you know. Of course, you can do awesome, super cool music clip, video clip, like compilations with cool music and walking through the city, and then you have one effect after another, you know, nice editing, and then this looks super crisp and super amazing, and this is totally fair, totally cool. I love to watch these videos. However, the real world, it's not like that. It doesn't work like that, you know. You are dealing with people. You are most likely in a complete uncontrollable environment, you know, and you just, you know, you just have somebody pick a card, for example. And this is something I believe all the work you do with your hands is something you always have to keep in mind, and you always have to focus on. It's the interaction with your audience, you know. This is where it leads, and everything you do should, you know, be directed into this focus, should be channeled into this focus of interacting with your audience, you know. So I have a spectator pick a card, any card, and then you can present it in various manners, of course, you know, and then you may lose it in the deck, you pull it out or whatever, but whatever you do, you will come to a situation where you then finally square up the cards again. So this is the first thing I want to share with you. Be aware about this. Think about it. Are you doing this? How consciousness are you about this fact that you pull off a move and then you end at a certain position? And how conscious are you about your starting position? If you focus on that, you will really get a different experience about your handling. And this just came to me at a certain point. I was thinking, what am I doing here all the time? You know, somehow it felt I was practicing different shuffling techniques. I was practicing how to catch a break. I was practicing the pass and stuff. And although it was all different techniques, at a certain point it was always like, dude, from a certain timing, you know, it's always the same thing. And then I realized, yeah, I always start from a grip, I always go into a move, and then I get ready for the next thing I do. And then there's another thing I want to share with you guys right now, and that is the fact that in an art form like card magic, besides of a lot of things coming together, you know, in magic is an art form, and I just talked about it with my brother, who is a professional musician, and he asked me the nice question. He said to me, Tim, Oh, that's my real name. Now you know. By the way, you can hook me up on Facebook. Tim Ottmar, this is where you find me, or just Google OTHMARIUS and then you find Facebook. Oh, there, still got a place for 100 friends. Yeah. Anyways, he asked me, how do you view magic? Do you view magic as an art form, like music or some other art form? I said, of course I do. Of course, absolutely. And then we had a long talk about what is an art form? You know, how do you define this? What is the difference between music and magic, for example, or writing and dancing and stuff? It was a very, very interesting conversation. And talking about it, I realized, and this is one of the reasons why I love magic so much, there is so much stuff coming together in magic. There's parts of acting in it, storytelling, artistic things with your hands. There is psychology in it, the interaction with your audience. That is so much crazy stuff coming together. And at the same time, stuff is coming together in your hands in the way of that when you look at it, when you walk through a certain period of practicing different things, that they are actually all interconnected. You know, they are kind of falling together at a certain time. So for quite a while I was practicing moves, for example flourishes. I decided to aim for only the 5 most valuable flourishes for me. Of course it's the dribble, it's the spring, and the thumb fan, and the thumb riffle, as well as the ruffle. Useful things, little things, useful things. But I was practicing them at first as a means to themselves. So you say it like that, you know, just for that, just to be able to do it. And then you eventually realize it, that these are things, these are actually applications you can use for card control or for visual effects and so on. And as soon as I realized this, I realized that basically this is happening in magic all the time. In card magic, for example, or especially. So let's get back to this basic 3-pattern routine. We start in this dealer's grip position. We push over the cards here. We take them in our other hand and we start spreading the cards. Okay. To have a spectator select a card, this thing, simple thing, and then we lose the card, and then we we square up the cards, and then we eventually cut the cards, and we have the card controlled to the top. Okay? So I use this now. I use the same thing in the context of card control. Now, take the spread, and let's say we're going to force another card. Let's say we force a 7 of, let's give it a try. Let's force a 7 of spades. So we're going to the deck. We have a spectator pick any card, Spectator goes for this one. No, you want to have this one. Very nice. There you go. There is your 7 of spades, right? Classic force, by the way, something you you need to practice with. When you do it, there's not a way. You really just have to try it. Super stressy, because people are picky. They want to be smarter than a magician, and then you really have to. It's another story. First we practice alone in our rooms, and then we practice with the people out there for a very long time, disappointing a lot of people. No, really, this is a little story in between. There's this a card trick from the Paper Engine, a book by Aaron Fisher. It's called Search and Destroy. It's a fantastic card trick where you have 2 cards, you know, closing in on a spectator selection, and the onlookers, the spectators, they're actually cutting the cards themselves in the trick. And it's a trick where you have the spectators select a magic word, and they have to say the magic word, and then they cut the cards, and then, you know, the 2 queens, it may be, you then move closer, and then they sandwich their selection. It's an amazing trick. It naturally comes with a built built up. It is super built up. It builds up a super tension, you know, and spectators are really getting invested emotionally. And if that doesn't work, and it's not their card sandwich there, which happens sometimes, you know, I don't know, I failed shuffling or whatever. It's you know, it happens sometimes, and then you have people who are like, oh fuck you, man, you suck, you know. Yeah. Also, this you gotta practice. You gotta walk through experiences like this to make it better next time. Anyway, we're getting back here to the card handling of this basic thing of spreading out cards. So, when you start practicing Magic, you know, and you start practicing something like spreading the cards, you are already practicing the badass stuff, the difficult stuff, the crazy stuff, you know, because in Magic you always, or you always should first learn the real deal. So you really should get a supernatural feeling having a spectator select a card before you fake it. And when you learned how to get this natural feel at first, learning to fake it is not so difficult anymore, I would say. I mean, it still takes practice then, but you already invested time and effort into the specific thing. And this is true. This is true for really, really a lot of things. Especially this classic spread, catching a pinky break with it, getting into a pass with it, forcing cards with it. It's insane. It's powerful. It's powerful. It's a powerful tool. It's a really powerful tool to create amazing illusions. And I don't say, you know, you need to waste too much time on practicing this, but you need to understand that this is something, you know, that comes first, and then you add the other things, you know. And if you proceed learning Magic like that, if you practice like that, if you aim for a defined selection of the moves you want to have, you just, because there was this trick, you thought it was so cool and the way it was done, and it comes with a specific technique of handling or a slide, so you start practicing. And maybe you realize, oh, it is really difficult. Try to give it a second look. What lies beneath? In what context the whole hands up, are the hands operating? What's the whole motion here? Where are things maybe I need to step back, I need to take a second look at, and practice new because you missed something there. That's all I'm saying. Always be aware. Always try to really be consciousness about what you are doing. So let's make a little break here, not a commercial break or something. I'm going back into full view because I have not been looking at your comments for quite a while. Okay. Yes, okay. Two things. Center deal technique, please. Dude, I'd be lucky enough. I'd be happy enough if I had mastered the bottom deal the way I want to master it, which I'm practicing. This is something I'm practicing right now. Most of the time, Erdney's second deal. It's a push over second deal, and then it's a bottom deal. Also the Erdney's version with Erdney's version with the bottom card getting pushed out before it's been dealt onto the table. It's really nasty. It's really difficult. These are things I would not show on YouTube, just like that, because they are. There's no point in it, basically. I believe there's no point in it. Not for me, because I practice. This is something we really invest a lot of time and effort to learn this. And if you use it well, nobody will ever know you use it or you can do it. I would be stupid to go there and say, look, it's my bottom deal. No, that's for idiots. Magic is more like storytelling than music. I know where you're getting. And you're right, of course, storytelling is a huge part of Magic. It's extremely important, but it also has a lot to do with music, actually, with rhythm and timing. Timing is, you know, when they say music, it grooves. This is groovy. This is the same in Magic. It's something I wouldn't even. You can't even really learn this. It's something you need to experience, and then you need to you become religious over it. But but you can learn timing. You know, you can gain experience about how people react, where are people looking, and what do they think is funny, and when everybody is laughing, nobody's seen shit, and that's where you're doing the deck switch, you know. and this is what you can learn. Greetings from Russia. Thank you so much. Awesome. How are you doing? Everything fine in Russia? No kidding, guys. I had I saw a magician once who would do a deck switch. I wouldn't even call this a deck switch. He literally would just have the one deck drop in his pockets and put out the other deck. He wouldn't put any effort in it, but he needn't put any effort into it, because he was so under control of the situation, and he knew exactly where everybody was at. It was beautiful to see. It was a group of I'd say 5 to 8 people, and he was so under control of their perspective, and he had all the dead and blind spots of their perspective under control. So he was at the point where he did the deck switch. He had the time, and he had all the time he needed, and he would just go like that and that, and there was no fancy moves, no big thinking, just bang, do it. And here's the thing, from a spectator's point of view, there's no difference. There's no difference if you pull off the latest, coolest move, you know, you have to pay money for, or if you just have the experience, you know, to do it like that. Because for them it's the same deck, because they were just laughing, looking at the ceiling at that time, and they didn't even know about it, that they didn't see it. And but this comes later. This comes very later, but it's good to know beforehand. Yeah, and this is the same thing. Once in a while, a working magician, somebody who really goes out to perform magic, okay, on a daily basis, and who's not just, you know, I don't know, a hobbyist, who does it occasionally, or someone who just basically, you know, collects magic tricks or practices cards a little bit, somebody who's really working magic, puts out a video where he's performing some card magic, and it's an amazing trick. It's super fun. People are totally excited. The illusion works. Everything's fine. And then you have these comments in the comment sections where some punks write, who does the guy think he is? He can't even pull off a decent pass. That's crazy. You know, this guy shouldn't call himself a magician. Yeah, from the camera angle, you know, when you have a camera that's shooting, get a wide shot, yes, the pass is flashing, but not for the crowd, not for the people. And this guy is working this every night, and this is his pass. And he does it because it's working, and he's making money with it, and he's entertaining people, you know, because he's not working for a camera. He's working for real people at a bar. It's a totally different thing. And this is where I would say we can go back to the cards at the table. You got to keep that in mind. What are you working for? It's a total different thing. And I noticed myself shooting a performance video on YouTube with the camera burning. It's brutal. It's super brutal. And I mean, it's a crazy awesome practice, because you really get these moves down. However, just for that camera angle. And when you go out, then your moves are much better. But they were working beforehand anyways. So no, I wouldn't have put extra practice into one or another technique, because it was working in the real world, you know. But not shooting a YouTube video with the camera burning. It's a big difference, and you got to keep this in mind, okay? And magic, card magic, is an entertaining, is art form with interaction with live audience, with people usually standing or sitting at a table. Very different thing than a cool card nicely edited YouTube video. It's a different world, different universe. Are you guys practicing? Are you guys practicing? Let's do it like here. Yes, Bill LaFay, this will be available later. Absolutely, of course. That's the idea. So once again, I've just introduced you to the to a little practice, a beginner practice routine I call the pick a card routine. We start with the basic grip. And this is something I want to share with you right now. I call this is a mechanics grip, which should be called a mechanics grip, I believe. I call this, however, a magician's grip. That's just what I came up with, because this grip here, the dealer's grip, is very often also in literature used also synonym with the mechanics grip. However, holding the cards like that and holding the cards like that is a big difference. You see this huge gap here, this huge space. This is the key, and this is one of the most basic grips. This is the basic grip you should get used working with. You know, everything, all the more sophisticated slides go down over this baby, most of it. Of course, then we got the middle grip or the overhand grip. This beauty here. Also, this is something that is absolutely crucial, very, 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 very important. You wouldn't believe it, but this comes with so many applications, with so many tricks, because you can, you know, hold the cards like this, you know. You can even free these fingers. You can do a lot of things. You give cover to from certain angles. You can cover the whole deck. And when you keep your fingers together, you cover all the downside here. So you can do a lot of sneaky stuff with it. Palming, stealing, top changes. You know, you guys know what I'm talking about, because you know all these videos where people do unbelievable things with cards. Hey, Magic SET, kein Problem. Willkommen zur Show. Samara. How's the weather in Samara right now? You got a nice weather? We had the first extremely beautiful summer day today in Berlin. It was insane. It was lovely. So I'm doing this here right now with a closed window, because people outdoors. Now it got dark, but it was sunny, like, I don't know how, 45 minutes ago. How long are we doing this right now? I don't care. It's fun. It's fun. As long as you're having a great time, we can do this a little longer. Yeah, and people were super loud, because they're enjoying life, and when people are enjoying life, you know, they make noises. Thomas Monte, thank you for thanking me. Okay, he writes, thanks for doing what you do, great info, important stuff, thanks. Awesome, you're welcome. Now listen up, it's something I wanted to share with you anyways. I'm OTHMARIUS Magic on YouTube is just one part, it's just a beginning of something much bigger. I follow actually a master plan here, and this live practice session is the next logical step, but there is much more in the making. I'm planning to go on Patreon. If that happens, I will tell you about it. And also, I'm working on a website in the background. You're gonna be very, very excited. And all of this, my tutorials on YouTube and my live practice sessions, they're going to be a part of it. I'm a big fan of learning by doing, you know, just do it, go into it, you know, make your experience, but always be realistic about what you do. So I'm actually training or learning to teach here, and I'm getting a feel for it, and this is a lot of fun. So there's crazy stuff happening in the future. It's a long. My master plan. I have a long-time vision. You know, I'm not talking about tomorrow or something. I'm talking about like 2, 5, 10 years. This is how I'm invested in. Otherwise, I would be very sad. Anyways, guys, YouTube has been so frustrating the last 2 years. You will not believe how frustrating it was. But I'm not going to get into this, because this is about cards right now. So, greetings from Michigan, USA. Greetings from Berlin. So we got Russia, we got USA, we got Germany. That's awesome, guys. Everybody, the whole world is tuning in. So, I was just showing you guys the grip, the basic grip. So, in this routine, we start from a dealer's grip. And the dealer's grip, the difference here is that the cards are lying on the palm of the hand. Basically, if you cut it in a diagonal, you can see this. The right half from the magician's point of view, lies actually on the lower section of the fingers, and the inner side lies on the palm of the hand. With the weight, mainly really mainly lying on the base of the first and second fingers. So if you get this grip, you can have these cards, here slide around, but you keep the deck basically in the same balance. Super important, super important detail. So we are in this position, and what you do then, your thumb buckles in, and then you push a bunch of cards over the top like that. So you're in this position right now. Now your right hand comes openly, your fingers contact the back of the fingers, thumb on top, and then you pull your hand to the right while you start with your left thumb, pushing the cards forwards. And now you start spreading the cards. Okay, that's the move. And this classic spread is very, very beautiful. And I know most of you guys should know this by now, but we cover the basics here. And as I said before, these basics, this is where we build on. This is our fundament. Do you say this? Our solid base to stand on. We're not building our house on sand. We're building our house on solid rock. Okay. So, and then you do that a little while, and if you're in this position, then closing the spread is a piece of cake. Basically, you push it back in the same position, and of course, doing so, you need to extend the right hand fingers. Bang, you go back, and now you got a mass in your hand. And then comes the square up, which is also very important because you do it all the time, and you can use this also to cover catching a break or even getting ready for a classic pass. So you come with your right hand for an overhand grip, and then you square them cards up. This is not an in-depth tutorial. This is just a walkthrough of the rough idea, and you guys can watch the tutorials if you need to. They are in the description box or the info cards right there. It's there in the info cards, and then you can watch the whole thing once again. So, and of course, if you proceed, you will practice this anyway. You will do it all the time. So I do this very often too, just practice catching a neat pinky break, like that. For example, 2 in order, practice foundation. Thank you so much. The foundation, the right foundation. 2, go for the double undercut and something. You guys know all these things because they're quite famous right now. And now this deck is now losing it. I was working with the deck all day. It's already an old deck. It was a hot day, so it became wet because of sweaty fingers. So this is right now. This is go away. By the way, guys, I always work with different decks. I always have my two decks that I would say these are performers. These are the decks that are working best right now, so they are quite used already, but they're still not down. This looks really good already. This was the deck I used to shoot the blank fan card trick. Feels so much better now. The cards, it's such a different feel, So if I would keep practicing now, I put this aside, which doesn't work right now, and I go on working with this one. These are the decks that are dispendable, bicycle, tally-ho and stuff. I tend to buy in boxes, 12 bicycle, I don't know, it's 30 bucks, and then you have cards for a year. Okay. Also, I have some random cards just that have a different feel to the cards I'm working most of the time with. So I have this Chinatown playing cards here from Fulton's or something, I don't even know, and they are I believe a little bit thinner than the bicycle. They have a little different feel to it, so I take them out once in a while just to to get a different feel in the hands. And then I have the deck, the deck that I'm going to kill, the deck I'm destroying right now. Look at this, look at this deck. This is so dead. Look at it. It's really like it's and this is the deck where I really go crazy. This is something to go for the things where you bend cards. Now I shouldn't say this maybe, but I cannot. I'm practicing the Les Paul spread right now. This thing where you need to bend the cards in this manner and then have them jump over, and this is something. This is just something that ruins the cards. It's a killer for. It's a deck killer to practice everything where you need to bend cards and you don't have control over the situation yet. This is a deck killer. So this deck. I'm just doing it. I use it for basically bodybuilding, you know, for this motion. And yeah, there you go. If they drop, doesn't matter. Or practicing the Mercury fold, you know, to where you actually ruining the cards, or tricks where you tear them apart and stuff. So this is the deck. I'm killing this right now, you know. It's like you will. I show you. I'm killing it. It's a you will die. You will die. Okay. Now the deck knows that it's gonna die. I know I'm crazy, but what can you do? And then of course I have my fancy deck. I have my, and this is my fancy deck. This is the deck I use for the fancy stuff, for the clean works, for the where I am at a point where I'm I need just the best cards to get the best results at the moment. Okay. So this is super awesome, and with this I'm practicing button dealing and second dealing right now. Let me see where I'm going at. Guys, if you are not having a deck out, and if you're not practicing right now while you're watching this, you're missing out. So some very slow push over Erdnase seconds. Now the thing is, we always go from slow to fast in card magic, and it's annoying. You can't believe how long I practiced to get this double push over halfway down, okay? It takes a long time, and it's crazy. It's super annoying. But I know it's worth it, because if you get this down, this perfect double second deal, oh man, you can do miracles. So this is what I do usually. Then when I don't shoot YouTube videos or try to raise some money in any other on the old-fashioned daytime job and stuff, I'm practicing cards with different decks, and I'm working on different things at the same time. But I'm very selective what I practice, and I stay with it. I stay with it. I don't stop until I'm satisfied with the results, yeah. Because everything else does not make any sense. Because we're talking magic here, and guys, this is the difference of this art form. You know, you can practice Stairway to Heaven on the guitar, and then you have a great time at the fire or at the guitar shop. Jamming that shit, annoying everybody, and you feel like Elvis Presley or whatever. We don't have this in card magic. You either are enabled to create the illusion, or you suck. There is no in between. So you need to really go all the way if you start practicing sometimes some things, and some things take unbelievable time, because the muscle, the tension, and the moves are so defined, and the muscle movements are so tiny. It's crazy. It's really crazy. I never thought, just to give you an insight here at my working position. No problem, Brian Prater, sorry, I have an appointment, I need to leave. Great stuff. Please do more these live streams. I will, I promise. Make sure to hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button, because otherwise you will not get notified by YouTube. They are just it's something going on, so you need to hit the notification, and even then, you know. But chances are that you will be back. This is going to be up and running then, anyways. After we're done here live. Okay, let's get back here. Where was I? Well, I just wanted to give you this insight. I never thought for this specific technique, where there's nothing much happening, basically just the thumb moving, it is to control this, to really control it, get a control of this. It's the whole back of the hand is getting involved. Really, there's the balance, pressure balance, different pressure balance between all fingers. Stabilizing the cards that make a difference here if you get this clean down. And if we go into some button dealing, and let me give you a nice angle here, so Ha! And you got the fingers clean, and you get for the button deal. You cannot believe how much stuff is going on, and it takes an incredible amount of time to get this down, so that it looks flawless and clean and easy and casual. Okay. So, guys, I hope this is not disappointing you or stressing you out, but if you are now kind of struggling with basic or with beginner stuff, like spreading the cards, you know, to have a spectator select a card, and you realize, oh, it takes some time of practice to get there. This will never end. This is a never-ending story, and you can wish for a wish dragon, you know, to come and make you a magician overnight, but it ain't gonna happen, okay, baby? It ain't gonna happen. You gotta practice. But if you practice well, and if you keep track of yourself, if you're not losing orientation, which happens, you will get there. You do not need to get ahead of yourself with difficult stuff. There are amazing, relatively easy tricks out there that hold a strong impact, and we talked about it before. The Royal Road to Card Magic, it's the topsy-turvy trick. I got a performance up and running on my channel of this one, where you use the sloppy shuffle, you know, this shuffle here, and where you have where you create a triumph effect, where all cards magically, you know, a completely upside down mixed deck, all cards magically reset themselves, and all cards are, I don't know, face up except for the selection face down. This trick is relatively easy, believe it or not. It is a killer. It is a freaking killer. People are super blown away by this. I use it all the time. Hell, even the first trick in the book, the topsy-turvy cards, I'm still doing. I love it. It's fun. You can do it anytime with any deck, with any burned out rotten deck. And if they throw a deck at you, you know, you're at a party and this happens, or with friends, or in a restaurant, and then it's got, oh, this is the guy who knows card magic, and then somebody goes and gives you a deck. In a bar in Germany, we say Kneipe, usually old decks, super low quality, super shitty. You can't do anything with them, you know, no fancy stuff, but stuff like this, basic simple stuff like that, you can do it, and you do it with a deck they gave to you, they just handed out to you, blows them away. They really respect that, and they enjoy it very much. And these are basically considered beginner tricks. These are tricks that are given away, you know, by people who sell magic products or try to establish themselves as teachers, because they're out there anyways. So, and because somebody just gave it away and stuff doesn't mean it's not important anymore, you know, because it's a beginner trick, you know, a teaser trick. No. It's super awesome. So aim for the easy stuff. Practice your basics, get a clean, a super natural handling, and have fun performing. And then you proceed, because also this is an extreme motivation boost. Every time I had the chance to, you know, do some great magic with some easy basic stuff, this is a boost. And then saying, oh man, if this is rock and roll and fun and powerful, crazy stuff already, you know, what can I do with the difficult things, with what I just showed you? And I will be practicing these false or blind dealing techniques for quite a while now, before they're down. Okay, this is a good question. I believe this was super cheap. I have it super long now. This is absolutely okay. This is really absolutely okay. I tried different things. This is where I'm stuck with. Do not spend money on fancy things you don't need. This is, I don't know, $12 or something, and you have this for the rest of your life. And also you can this is something you can just because it's so cheap, you can you can take it with you, and if it gets, you know, dirty or something, just buy another one. It doesn't matter. Who cares, you know? It's really good. It's good. It's got all you need, you know. It has a little. It actually, I think it's awesome. Actually, it's awesome. It has what these things need is to have a little bouncy surface so that you can just push the tip of your fingers in there, but still they need to be, you know, solid enough, not too soft. And this is just perfect. So for you know, table working here, absolutely cool. Yeah, I love this very much. Working with it all the time, because you know, if you try to do some cuts on a table plate, I just can pick up the last cut. Fuck me. Super annoying. By the way, guys, I'm preparing to get ready for shooting a whole tutorial series on the basics of table work. I'm practicing also for this, and this is going to feature this table riffle shuffle. Is going to feature some super cool table cuts, and also this will go into the here ribbon spread, table spread, and also I will show you how to deal cards in the right way, okay? In the magician's way. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing this. I had to rearrange my whole setup, my whole room. Needed to be rearranged also for this live streaming. So right now I'm ready for live streaming. I'm ready for shooting this table stuff, tutorials, and I don't know, trailers or compilations, but I'm also ready to shoot other stuff for standing in my room, okay? I don't know. I have the feeling right now that there is more that I wanted to share with you guys, but on the other hand, I've been saying and sharing a lot. So, do you guys have questions right now on behalf of what I said according to this basic pick a card routine? If you are a beginner right now and you have any trouble, this is the time to ask me. And while you guys thinking how you ask me, I give you a little tour through my room with my camera, okay? So here's a little tour. If I turn the camera around, you see my room where I'm shooting my stuff actually with, and if I pull this up now, you see also my living room here, all right? So this is where I used to edit my stuff on the couch there and then shoot actually here in the center point where now this whole table is standing, and this thing now is my table where I'm going to shoot all these tutorials and I'm doing all these live streams here, okay? This is the setup, this is the situation. And there's some nice flowers, okay, because you need some flowers. And there is the door to my balcony, okay? So a little room tour. So I set it all up so that I can do all these different formats and things I'm planning on my channel. Because time is a very, very precious resource, and the older I get, the more precious it becomes, you know. So I simply cannot always, you know, rearrange and set it all up for a different camera, for a different set. That's crazy. So I set it up for three different things at once. Also, this is much better for my back to edit my videos, and also this is much better to practice table work here and other things to come. For beginners, any other books besides Roy wrote that you recommend for beginners? Not really. Royal Road to Card Magic is super full. You got everything in there. I mean, like, I'm just going through the timetable, okay? You got the overhand shuffle, the riffle shuffle, you got flourishes, the glide, the glimpse, the key cut, the palm, the back slip, overhand shuffle, second time, false cuts, double lift and turnover, the pass, more flourishes, reverses, Hindu shuffle and other controls. Classic force, bottom change, top and bottom changes. You got arrangements, then you got routines, and then you got different tricks. Baby, what else you need, honestly? Of course, there are other books. You want to read other books. This is is this for beginners or not? No, it's the expert at the card table from Erdnase. It's an awesome book to read, just to see, to get, there's stuff in there where he speaks in general about magic, and there are techniques in there that are also very important. Let's just say, and this is going to, I'm going to talk about also in the tutorial on the table riffle. There is a huge difference between the table riffle in the Royal Road and the table riffle in the expert card table. And to have them make love, and look at both different tables. Why? What's different there? This is where you start understanding what's important about this specific shuffling technique. Riffle, table riffle is one of these things you can you can see if somebody knows what he's doing. Okay. Another book I highly recommend is and this ranges from beginner to dude, you will never learn this. This is a paper engine, I believe it's called. Wait, I just. Yeah, paper engine. Okay, it's called The Paper Engine by Aaron Fisher. This comes with some very nice tricks that are absolutely workable for beginners. Aaron Fisher is one of the guys who influenced me the most, because he features a very clean, not clean, a very minimalistic card handling style. So in the universe of Aaron Fisher, from a spectator's point of view, the deck should not be touched at all. In the best case scenario, and he explains a lot about also the build up of tricks and the psychology behind it. And there's some absolutely fantastic moves in there, absolutely fantastic slides, and he always he always shares his the way he got there, what he's writing in this book. Very a lecture for a beginner. Absolutely, it's absolutely fantastic. This book helped me a lot. This was very clear. And then there are two things I could recommend, but they're a little more costly. This is or you don't need to buy the product, but you can just watch the performances. Leonard Green, watch Leonard Green, and wonder how a man who's basically does not know how to hold a deck of cards, who's munching the cards like a crazy person. How is he achieving these effects? Think about that. Card handling. Watch card performers. Watch as many card performers as a beginner as possible. The masters, the masters of the art, and compare them, not in regards to who's the cooler magician, who's the better card, because there are folks there at a certain level. It's not about who's better. It's about it's about what's more your type of performance style, So there's a lot of, and we live now in an age where you basically can type in, card magic and then watch performance. Another tip for beginners. Be careful with your sources. Just saying, be careful with your sources, because on YouTube, click ratio and success is measured by robots, and it's not necessarily the highest quality of explanation or of is the one with the most clicks and most views and stuff. Be careful with people giving away things too easily, and also be careful with people explaining tricks or routines from master magicians, because no one who really knows the art form because knowing the art form means respecting the art form, would go and say David Blaine's latest performance on television revealed. You know, and usually when you click these videos and watch these videos, you have people, yes, they reveal the secret. Sometimes they reveal the secret completely wrong, so they get it completely wrong. And if they do, still they have no idea what they're talking about, because there is a huge difference between knowing a trick and knowing how to do a trick, how to perform the trick. And someone like David Blaine, and I love watching David Blaine. I love doing his things because his repertoire is insane. His card repertoire is insane. He's doing a lot of classic routines that are out there for ages, you know. And the way he performs, he sometimes performs them just straightforward, and that's it. And he's super bold. This is a quality every magician needs, you know, boldness to a certain degree, and David Blaine is super bold, and to watch him work these classic tricks, it's just amazing. And it's just crazy people who would go and say, I know what the man is doing actually there. That's crazy talk, you know. And if you actually have an insight of the secrets or the skills he got to perform on that level, you wouldn't go hit YouTube and say that's how it is. No, you wouldn't do that. However, talking about the basic stuff, you know, shuffling, flourishes, and the basic card control things, defining techniques and slides, and looking at how other people are doing it, and sometimes, you know, maybe an explanation of one magician just doesn't work for you, and then somebody else, some other teacher, somebody else shows it to you, and you go like, why didn't they tell it before, you know? And this is just how it is, you know. Yeah, for beginners, these are tips I would say, you know. Suck it up, suck it all up, all you can get, you know. But be aware about your sources, your learning sources. And if your base is a book like The Royal Road to Card Magic, this is fair enough, you know, absolutely fair enough. I believe if you don't say you want to become a professional, or you don't even want to become, you don't want to go all the way, you know, you just want to learn how to perform a couple of tricks and put them into a nice routine and stuff. This is Royal Road to Card Magic. This can turn literally anybody within a couple of months, like say half a year to a year, if you invest the time and effort training here, into someone who performs for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes at the table, but decently. Absolutely, there's no problem. I'm always saying this, magic has not to be expensive, okay? You need one reliable learning resource, you need a couple of decks, you know, and then you get started, and then you practice, and then you practice, and you watch other performers, other successful performers, and especially those who inspire you, and then you copy them, but not forever, just to get into the field, to understand what that is, and then you have to make it your own. You have to make something new out of it, to give it an interpretation, you know. And that's the funk, and that's the way you walk. So you start with some slides, you put them into tricks, you use them to create tricks, and then you maybe use the joke they said in a book to be used, or you heard some performers say it, but then you realize you are much more successful if you come up with your own stuff, you know, because you're the only one who can be funny as you can be funny. And doesn't mean you need to be funny, you know. You can be sad. You can be a sad card magician. Give it a try. That would be cool, man. Here comes the sad card magician, the guy who's always sad and starts crying, perform card. I want to see that performance. I want to see one of you guys becoming the saddest card magician in the world. Or the most angry card magician. But I believe that's already out there. Yeah. Guys, are you still with me, or am I? Yeah, it's, 12 people currently watching. Are you having a great time? Are we good? We're doing this now for 1 hour and 16 minutes. So it's about time to close this very slowly. As I said in the beginning, everything I said here today, this is just my take. This is highly subjective, of course. Don't take it as the last word or the final decision. Take this as an input for your own thought processes. And again, I'm doing this because I'm invested in mastering the art, and with mastering the art form, it comes to teaching becomes a part of the art form. I'm staying with the basic stuff. I want to help you guys to become the best performers in the art form, because what we do not need shitty magicians out there. We need awesome magicians out there, so that when a professional next time walks to the table, okay, they say, oh yeah, we saw this YouTube kid and it was awesome, and now we want to see a professional. So let's give the professionals out there who actually make a living out of it, give them a boost, you know, become the best card magician you can be. By just practicing and learning well, and enjoying what you do, and respecting the art. Respect the art, you know, that's what you got to do. All right, guys, there was one more thing, but I forgot what it was, and if I stop this now, I will be pissed that I forgot it. So I don't know, I haven't looked at my calendar. Guys, hit that notification bell on my next to the subscribe button. You can do this in my case because right now I have a maximum upload rate of 1 video per week, and I don't know if I make it in the next month, because May is such a workload. It's crazy what we do. I'm working my ass off, literally, so I will probably not be able to come up with 1 video a month, but with 1 video a week. I try, however. There's not going to be more, so I'm not going to spam you if you have that bell notification. However, you will be notified when I upload, and if you like my stuff and you want to see more, you want to progress more with me together. Hit that notification bell. Meet me on Twitter as OTHMARIUS, and meet me on Facebook at Tim Ottmar. Then the next upload will be hopefully next week, if not possible in 2 weeks, or max time. I want to give the smallest interval for this live practice sessions shall be 1 month. This is what I'm defining right now, okay? At least once a month we do this together. Yeah. Here's one more question I have for you guys before you all kick out and have a great Sunday night. If I'm planning to go on Patreon. I will do this anyways, but just to get a feel for this, so maybe you can give me a little motivation boost here. Would this be something where you say, like, if this guy goes on Patreon, I would consider, supporting him with $1 or euro a month, or even more. Of course, there would be some specific extra content then going out on Patreon. You know what? I'm telling you the story because this just came up in my mind. The thing about YouTube is that YouTube right now is you need to upload at least 3 times a week, or actually daily, and you need to be completely consistent with your content. Otherwise, you will not see any real growth. So my channel is growing, but very, very slowly. Much slower than expected. That was because of changes in 2017. As a matter of fact, YouTube, and I don't know if you guys got this or realized this. Awesome, thank you, oh boy. Oh boy, yes, that you would support me, that's awesome. So yeah, I will do this. See you then on Patreon, at least. YouTube took away 4 guaranteed suggestions. You know, suggested videos are the videos on your right side when you watch on a desktop, or underneath the video when you watch it on mobile. And there were 4 suggested videos of the content creator of the specific video you were watching, guaranteed pretty high, ranking pretty high. They took that away, and that had an impact on my channel. I did not grow from the first to the third quarter at all, actually, on YouTube. So my growth rate at the end of 2016 was exponential, and I was like, yeah, this is really working right now. And then my channel went to the shits. It was like what the and super frustrating, because I went into 2007 highly motivated, and by May I was like, I'm up, fuck this shit. This is absolutely pointless. Not because of you guys, not because of what I'm doing here, but because of, decisions of this platform, how the platform works. And yeah, so of course in this context I learned about Patreon and stuff, and I kept going. I kept uploading actually weekly, on a weekly basis, and I did this tutorial series on the double lift and on the past things I actually didn't want to do, but I knew if I don't do this now, actually this channel is dying. So I did that. Okay, your boy. Okay, we're good. So I did this weekly uploads, and I stick with it because it felt good. I got out of my comfort zone, pushed myself a little harder to proceed in what I'm to get better in what I do, and put out a little more content. And now this live streaming practice sessions is the next logical step. Then I move on to Patreon. Of course, I'm going to stay on YouTube, but I let you know about it when the time comes. And then there is going to be a web page I create right now, which is going to be it's really awesome. I'm looking forward doing this. This is where I'm going to put all my all the content I got into a systematic order, into a didactic order. It's going to be with text. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really, really awesome. And and that's the master plan I'm following for now. And you guys are now the first guys in this. Currently watching 10 viewers. Thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me. Let me show you my hands one last time. Next week we are going to go into shuffling. We are going to go into the overhand shuffle, into the Hindu shuffle, into the in-air riffle shuffle, and of course into the Pharaoh shuffle. You can get ready for this, because of course I got a tutorial series up and running on all of these, introducing you to all of these shuffling techniques, giving you an in-depth tutorials on all of these shuffling techniques. But in the next episode of this shuffling cards, maybe I call it, I will talk in general about the importance of shuffling cards. I will give you some tips, and I will show you what freaking amazing things you can do just with an overhand shuffle. This is just a thing. So with the pick a card routine, learn to hold the cards, the proper grips, tutorials in the description. Spreading the cards, have a natural feel, a natural touch to it, to a light and loose touch, to present the cards, to have a spectator pick the cards, squaring up the cards, and then learn how to shuffle, the overhand shuffle, and you actually almost good to go performing incredible magic tricks out there. You know what? I will dig into the road of my card magic then, and then we're gonna take a look at maybe what we got here with the overhand shuffle. Yes, we got the topsy-turvy cards, we got a poker player's picnic, a pocket discovery. There's a tough stealer. These are all amazing tricks. We're gonna take a look at them. Also then, to be motivated, to keep on proceeding, to progressing and getting better in our magic. I hope, guys, you have been practicing while all of this went down, so that this was not only a quality time, but a quality time. So what am I doing? My name is OTHMARIUS, and this is just what I do. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, guys, I was just reading you just said some things here. Let me just say something to this. I think a lot of people fall in the trap of fancy editing and look past the quality of content. In my opinion, yes, I agree. And this is not only happening in Magic. You guys have been there when Zabreezy got caught faking reactions and Chris Ramsey, totally hipster emo, got involved with a little drama, calling out the man. Yeah, but this is just looking at content, okay? Because it's easier to, just show a great reaction, you know, and then present yourself as a great magician, you know. You get the clicks, you get the ad revenue. What else do you want if you're a character of that kind, you know? And on YouTube, we have a situation. I mean, it's frustrating if Philip DeFranco, says that he kind of, you know, needs to really look for alternatives. The way his channel is going down on YouTube, and then you have like the Paul brothers, how they call Logan and Paul Logan and Logan brother. I don't know, these assholes. And if you see what they come up with, I mean, basically we reached a point where the content, where selling merch is the content of the video. It is crazy. This is absolutely pointless. This is the dumbing down of this is a level of stupidity that leaves me breathless, really speechless, unbelievable. So when that's the content. I mean, it should be like somebody creates something, somebody works hard for something to create content, become a magician, a funny entertainer, or whatever, you know, a dancer and something, you know. People have to study to learn qualities, and then maybe they can build up a brand and sell their merch because they got a great company, or they are designers, they make great fashion, great logos, and that's worth it. But just selling merch as a content itself, that's really annoying. But I don't want to get into this deeper because I don't want to stop this with a rant. But yes, so this is frustrating. What do I say? You know what? I will probably do a whole video about this whole topic, because as things are developing, all of us as how do we say this, people who as consumers, you know, we have to make more conscious consumer decisions. We have to be more loyal to the content that shows quality, and to really support these people, you know. And there's ways of doing this today, and these ways are getting better and better. Support the people you owe in a way, because they entertain you or they teach you, you know. Go support them on Patreon and or like their videos, comment, and whatever, you know, what you can do. I do this myself, actually. I'm training myself right now doing this, you know. Although it's not so easy sometimes, because then you got all this gossip in your feed, and these things, these thumbnails, emotional thumbnails, they're super good to trigger you. The 10 most ugly faces in the world, and before you know it, you're on the dark side of YouTube, and people are getting ad revenue for gossip and bullshit, and yeah. But we're all just human, and as long as you practice in cards, watching that garbage, you know, it's not completely waste of time. Wenn ich höre, was sich in letzter Zeit auf YouTube alles verändert hat, dann wird ein kleiner YouTuber doch nur demotiviert. Yes, Magic SET writes in German that with the changes on YouTube happening, that smaller YouTubers are demotivated, you know. It's true, it feels like this, really. But hey, you know, what can you do? You know, keep a positive attitude, be realistic about what's happening, and then find solutions. That's my approach, at least, you know. And I'm doing this live thing here because I want to connect with you guys, because your feedback like this gives me where I say, actually, this is the reason I'm doing this, and not, I don't know, the millions of subscribers, you know. Nice if they come one day, you know. But right now, this is between us, okay? Shuffling is my favorite. Yes, absolutely. Mine too. I love to shuffle. That's for me like a meditation. And if the crazy world, you know, gets hold on me, if I'm feeling down or depressed or sad, or I don't know, or if I'm angry, you know, I just take a deck of cards. It's like meditation. And then I shuffle. And I shuffle the sadness of the universe away. Guys, my name is OTHMARIUS. This is just what I do. Chaka. The trailer. I wanted to play the trailer. Here we go.
OTHMARIUS Magic. Like and subscribe.
Behold now, the Magic Dragon. It was a great fun. I hope you enjoyed the watch. I hope the quality was good. I will watch this video myself after I'm done here, and I hope the sound is good and stuff, and I try to improve the quality, of course. For you tech guys out there, I've been uploading on 720p with 2200 bits per, how do you call this? Bits per bits per bits. I don't know, man. And it worked fine. From my point of view, everything was cool and crisp. I hope it was for you too. Let's say goodbye and good night to each other. And farewell, and see you next time. Yeah? Be sure, more magical stuff is going to be uploaded very soon. Okay, right then. Guys, you can leave because I'm leaving. Thank you so much. We're done here today. And in case I missed something, I will make it up to you next time. Right? Okay. Feels like breaking up a relationship. I'm gonna cry all night. Okay, mach's gut. Magic SET. Uri boy. Thanks for watching. Everybody else. See you next time around. Nice. Thanks again. Bye, guys. I stopped streaming in 3, 2, 1, out.